Yes, today we've got like a crazy, super special event. We've got my brother Matthew Duncan, and we also have Nick Allegretti, three-time, not two, not one, back-to-back, three-time Super Bowl champion, and he just played like a freaking stud. But we're going to get into that. We want to welcome Nick. Thank you very much for coming on the Coin Shop podcast. How you doing?
I'm great, guys. I appreciate you having me on. I'm pretty fired up about this. The coins have meant a lot to me for probably about 15 years now. So really excited to be able to talk with you guys about it and hopefully get some more people joining the community.
Yeah, I think in most cases, I feel like this would be such a Super Bowl centric podcast, being that you've won 3 Super Bowls, but that's not going to be the most important thing in this podcast. We're going to get into the world of numismatics and collectibles, and we're going to do that a little bit, but we would be remiss if we didn't talk a little bit about the Super Bowl. So I think this is not one question. I didn't get this approved, but I'm just going to ask it anyway. But how does 3-time Super Bowl champion sound?
It's crazy. I mean, so to put it in perspective, I was a 7th round draft pick. I went to University of Illinois. I loved it there. We didn't win a whole lot of games. Yep. I loved playing Big Ten football. That's, that school, it means a ton to me, but I just wanted a shot. I mean, if I would have been a year on the practice squad, I would have been in heaven. So the fact that I've been able to, be in the league for 5 years on a team like the Kansas City Chiefs and now be a 3-time Super Bowl champ, it's hard to really comprehend it. I mean, incredibly grateful for the Chiefs, for my family, for everyone that's been a part of this. Really, I don't know if it'll ever hit. Hopefully it doesn't, because I'm enjoying it. I'm just so grateful for the opportunities I've had.
I mean, I guess it would be hard for someone, especially a guy like me, never really did anything like that. You're a 7th round pick. You're fighting every day for a roster spot. Not only do you get to make the starting squad, but you're actually, you didn't give up a freaking sack.
Right.
I mean, your entire team actually didn't give up a sack. I mean, that's impressive.
Yeah. We have a lot of incredible coaches with the Chiefs. Our online coach, Andy X, done a great job. But it's also, when you're blocking for Pat, you're blocking for the best player on the planet at the moment. So, there's absolutely, you try your absolute hardest every single play, because you know that if you give him, just that extra tick, he can make a play out of it.
Sure.
And he's also pretty special. So, he's able to avoid a lot. He has a great feel for the pocket, when he has to leave the pocket, when he could stay in. I could dive into the football side of things too much there, but he is, a special player, and absolutely, an honor to block for him.
Well, so I'm a big Twitter guy, and I saw where and I saw that. I mean, and then a good friend of ours that works with us too, Dez, he actually sent it to me as well, and he just said, "Let's, LFG, like, let's go," right? And it's just, how cool is that? Listen, you're in the trenches, right? And if you can hold that guy one more second, you're right. There's only really one guy on the planet that can make those plays. And you gotta, no matter what your elbow feels like, or no matter what your knee feels like, or no matter what, you gotta hold that guy. And you guys did that, and that's why you guys won another championship. And I don't think no one I've talked to is saying anything otherwise. And I just think that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, like you said, I think the fact that a lot of the guys on the team knew how great it is to win. Sometimes there's guys that are fighting because they want that feeling.
Right.
But once you feel it and you understand, it's as great as imagined, if not better. You want it again, because that feeling feels great, and it's, I'm still riding that high, and we're probably going to ride that high for another month or so, but then it's going to reset, and people are going to start talking about 24, and the draft's going to be coming up, and then you want it again. It is a euphoric feeling that you're going to constantly chase. So I think that extra effort that you see from the guys on our team, it's because they understand how special it is. And it is awesome to be able to go back to back.
Yeah, how hard it is to even get there, and then to get to put yourself in that position. You play the Ravens, and it's like, those guys were playing lights out. I mean, they blew out the Texans. I mean, people thought Texans had a shot, and I mean, they just got blown out. And you guys roll in there. You don't give up any sacks. Pat plays a great game. I mean, Diffus plays a pretty good game. It's just, I don't know. It's just amazing to watch, and it's you really, when you get to the playoffs, you really get to see that all of the other teammates show up, and because it takes every single player on the 53-man roster, coaches included, to be able to do that stuff. It's just really cool to watch. How are you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. The elbows come down a lot. I sent you guys the picture of the elbow from a couple days after the game.
Crazy,
but
crazy
it's definitely feeling a lot better now. It's all worth it though. Absolutely, especially when you've got an off season to take care of it. So the body's you're feeling pretty good. I'll be back in another couple months. But mentally feel great. You get to fully relax in the off season when, for a month or so, when you know that you accomplished that goal, and we'll start working in a little bit. But right now, just enjoying it and spend some time with my wife and my two twin daughters, which has been awesome. So yeah, it's been a special, a special 5 years, but a special last couple weeks has been great.
Yeah, I don't want to make this too Super Bowl oriented, but it's kind of like, that was a crazy game, right? I mean, dude,
no,
whoa.
I'm a football fan at heart. I mean, it is my profession, but I started playing football because I loved it. I loved watching it. So I try my best when I'm in games to, when we have a timeout or we're on the bench, the defense is out there, try to step back a little bit and try to take it in, because it truly is my dream. I had two dreams. My first dream was to, play in the NFL. Second dream was to retire and open a coin shop. So we got a couple more years to go. But I truly am living my dream while I'm out there. So it's awesome.
That is cool. Well, hey, speaking of coin shop, let's get into coins, because that's honestly where I felt like we had some mutual attraction. And talking to you about coins, and Matt, this was brought up to us, and we actually knew about you last year, and it was on our radar. We wanted to get a couple things kind of tightened up first, right? We wanted to see how the Coin Shop podcast would work out. We knew we had some exclusives coming out on a few products, and we're like, hey, but I didn't think I really truly knew that Nick really, really likes coins.
Right.
I mean, and if I'd have known, I'd have jumped on it immediately, but I couldn't imagine. I haven't met, a lot of people that are like, dude, I love coins.
True passion for coins. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's,
and it's a lost art, and it's such a fun business and a fun hobby to be around. And, our passion is to be able to share that with people. And, we have a really fun coin shop, and we've got a really cool customer base, and we enjoy it. We love it, but we want to be able to kind of magnify it a little bit. And we don't want to see what happened to our hobby that we grew up in, and the business we grew up in, fall like stamps, right? We don't want to see numismatics be the new philatelics, where, literally you can't find a stamp shop in, 3,000 miles from you. And I don't care where you're at. We didn't want to see that happen to coin shops. And so we got on a mission, and man, we found you, and you found us, and we found each other, and I think it's going to be awesome. We're super excited. Tell me what got you into coins.
Yeah. So, I guess if you start from the youngest age, I'd say that I've been collecting for about 15 years, but really it's been probably since I was 6 or 7. So 20 years. I remember I found my first wheat penny, going through my dad's cup holder while we're driving somewhere, and I didn't know what it was, but I was like, this is definitely not the Lincoln Memorial. It's different, so I don't know who I must have showed it to, my dad or somebody, and we looked up what a wheat penny was. And then I kind of, for 5 or 6 years, I did that. I just searched through change and loved finding, I just thought of the story that, okay, I'm excited for this story. So
let's go.
I had kind of been into coins because of that, and my buddy Chad Elliott, one of his grandpas passed away, and he had a coin collection. So we were both history guys. We both knew, I knew of the Red Book, so I was like, we got a shot to go try to find out what these coins are somewhat worth. So we're not going to go to a coin shop and sell these coins for $100 when they're worth whatever. So we went through the whole collection. looking at date, mint mark, trying to grade them our best at 12 years old.
Sure.
And, then we took it into the shop, and the process of going through the coins was awesome. Finding out what a Morgan dollar was and a peace dollar, and then going into the shop. I think that the owner understood how interested I was. So he didn't just, grab it and say 20, 20, 10. He took the time to go through it, and he was informative for me. He told me what the coins were and a little bit of history behind each coin. And then when we went to leave, he gave me a magazine. So I had a magazine. I went home and I read through the articles, and I was like, man, I kind of really like this thing. And while we were there, we had a bunch of pre-64 Roosevelt dimes. So I was like, oh man, those things are worth $2. I was like, wheat pennies are great, but let me go try to find a $2 dime. It fired me up. And there was this dime lodged under our back door in my house that I grew up in for as long as I could have remembered. And I had gone through all the change in the house, and then I remember going to the laundry room, and I saw that coin, and I was like, I got to check it. So it took me 10 minutes prying the coin out, and it ends up being a 1963.
Oh, let's go.
And God, I'm getting chills. I just remembered this. That was the time I was like, man, this is something I should dive into. So that's how I got into the hobby. And it's progressed since then, which is years for me. It's something that nobody in my family does. It's my own thing, and I absolutely love it.
It's cool. That's really cool. I mean, a little education, took the second to explain everything, and all of a sudden he grew a coin, numismatist, someone that wanted to deal in coins and
that's what happens.
Collect
right?
coins and trade coins. I mean, that's
we see it in our store.
Yeah,
at least once or twice a week, and we do the same thing. We see a young guy who takes an interest. Somebody who bugs their mom, aunt, uncle, dad enough to take him to the coin shop. Yep. Then we've got to reward that kid, right? We've got to arm him because he's 12. He doesn't have a car to come drive over here, so we've got to give him as much as we can when we see him to try to keep him interested in this hobby, because that's how the hobby grows.
Right.
I think for us, one of the things we see, Nick, a lot in our hobby is a lot of the dealers are 60, or older.
Yeah.
Right? And we're here trying to figure out how to get, the less than 40 somethings to get into the hobby, because it is something that you can get, you can easily liquidate. It's not like a model airplane or something where, you go spend $1,000 and then it's like, well, why would I buy that? It's your model, But if you go buy $1,000 coin, there's a lot of dealers that'll pay you $900. Right? And it doesn't sound like a great deal. You lost $100, but if you're collecting, then you know that you're not always going to make money. So you have to mitigate your downside. And I think that's one of the things that we felt comfortable with you, is that you're a collector of coins. You're not over here buying $400,000 Stellas. You want to buy, you want to buy everyday coins that are cool, that have good stories, that have a good look, that have a nice eye appeal. And that's what we're interested in doing. Right. So that's something we're going to collaborate on here in the future, that we want to be able to, we want to know what you like as a collector and what intrigues you. And let's talk about it a little bit, and let's carry some of those products in so we can hopefully get them in someone else's hands. I think that'd be a lot of fun. So I just want to get back on the coin side of things a little bit. I can remember coming into the coin shop myself as a kid, and I was a baseball card guy. I love baseball cards, right? I grew up in Florida. We didn't really have a sports team. I grew up in the Panhandle of Florida. We didn't really have a sports team. My dad lived in Houston, and I was a big Astros and Oilers fan, right? And I loved sports cards. When I started going to the coin shop and working at probably 12 or 13 years old, the first thing I wanted to do was go straight to the sports cards to see what we had in stock, right? And go see what we could go pull and rip. And we were looking for Griffeys and Bo Jacksons and Deion Sanders and things like that. But I remember sorting my first bag of wheat cents. And I feel like when we were talking about the wheat cents earlier, that's where everybody starts. It just finds you. And a lot of times, like even my 60 or 70-year-old customers, they all collect 09 SVDBs, right? Because that was
the one they couldn't
you could never find.
Couldn't find it. Yeah.
They only made 480 something thousand of them.
Right.
It wasn't. I know that sounds like a really big number, but in terms of cents, there really weren't a lot of them, right? So when you found that silver dime, try to tell me how your 12-year-old self felt when you found that silver dime.
Yeah, I mean, it was so. I mean, at that point, I have my money saved up from birthdays. That's all I've got. And, every time I found a wheat penny, man, it was like, all right, I just, that penny that I had now is worth 2 or 3 cents.
You're calculating your net worth. Your net worth was calculating, right?
Absolutely. So, I had, and it was on a jank printer piece of paper. I had all the wheat cents that I had. I had some mint sets and stuff, mint sets and stuff like that. But when I found that dime, I was like, man, this is at that point, I think it was like $1.90 melt value. And it was just such a euphoric feeling that I was like, the feeling, it never left. Cause if you go all the way to the draft, what I did is I went to the bank and I got probably $500 worth of change. And I sat there, for 3 days while I knew that my name wasn't going to be called till that third day. And I looked through change and looked for errors.
What?
And that's I needed something to spend time that I knew it was going to take me time. I knew that, I could be mindless and just crank through quarters. And it's just coins are something. It's special to me. It's my thing that I've always done that none of my friends, that I grew up with, they weren't into it. My family wasn't into it. So it was my time to, do it by myself. I got to meet, all types of people. I'm an old soul, so it was cool that I could, whether the coin store owner was 30, 40, or 50. I felt like I got along with them, and they knew my interest in it, and they would spend time with me. And I can't thank those coin store owners enough for the time that they spent with me. And I'm sure we'll get to it, whether in this podcast or another, but. The time that I spent in the coin stores was probably my most relaxed time because I had football and school, wrestling, whether it was deciding where to go to school or knowing that the draft was coming up. It was my 2 hours I had, once a week where I just got to go look through the new purchases that they had. And I'm kind of getting away from that dime, but that feeling doesn't change. It's the coin stores and the coin world, the numismatic world has always meant a ton to me.
I normally have like a good witty comeback, but I'm a little floored right now. This is what we're doing it for, right? I can't even calculate how many younger, kiddos come in the store and they just look for guidance in this hobby. Right? Because they know, they see something that the others don't. It's like the Matrix. Like they see, hey, my money has value here. I can buy things that keep value. Yeah, I can go buy the new dart gun or the new video game, like you said, or I can go buy the latest new gadget. Right. But that stuff is going to be literally worthless after I buy it, right? There's no support for that. But if I go buy a nice Kamim in 66 that's graded by PCGS or GC, I feel like I'm going to have 10 to 15% of that coin's value almost at any time if I'm not making money. And that's where we are, is we want to be able to try to figure out how do we get people to think in those terms. And it's funny because there are kids coming into our coin shop in droves, and we have an event on Saturday where we're going to actually give out, I think we got 80 bags. We have 80 starter kits. So we're going to give loops, red books, we're going to do all kinds of different inserts, and then we're going to start doing this as a service. I want to give a couple hundred out a month. I'll give out thousands if I can. Maybe we can slip in some Allegretti autographs in there or something. But I think if we put it out there, I think they'll come, and I think that they'll actually care because these kids are smart, man.
Yeah, and you get like-minded people to get together and,
Well, look at Wade.
Wade is a perfect example.
We got to introduce Nick to Wade because we have a 15-year-old. He's 16 years old now.
Going on 30.
He first came into our store about 10, okay? He comes in with his mom. This kid has a Pelican briefcase, like a little gray one, like this big, and it's, no lie, it's attached to his arm. The kid has a little Seiko on a leather strap, and he's like, hey, I'd like to look at your coins. and we've like a whole store is full of coins. So we sit down, we talk to him. So this kid starts coming in, every weekend, and then it's like during the week, and then you start seeing him 2 or 3 times a week, and you're like, how's this kid getting here?
Yeah.
And
aren't you supposed to be in school?
Okay, so fast forward to last year. He's 15 years old. He's capitalized by I think about $250,000. He's taking Uber rides all over the city, buying inventory, bringing inventory to me. He's cracking coins, going to coin shows, submitting coins at PCGS. This kid did $1 million in business last year.
No way.
Yes, he just turned 16. He was in my store yesterday. He spent $22,000 with us. He is a little coin prodigy, and there's a bunch of them. So I taught at summer seminar last year in Colorado Springs, and there was 27 kids. This year they've got a bunch of people lined up. We're going to go there. We're going to teach that course again. It's how to become a coin dealer. And again, this is exactly what we want. This story you just shared, that's exactly what we're trying to do. So I appreciate that story a lot. I mean, it got me fired up, actually.
Absolutely. No, that is incredible. And it's a niche, and it may always be a niche, but it's, it can grow. Absolutely. The people that I know there's an interest in this hobby, if they can understand it. That's the challenge. It's understanding coin collecting. And I think the biggest thing, my coin store that I started going to in college, especially Stamp and Coin down in Champaign, Mark Cortez, the owner there, he was the first one to let me know, like, don't be afraid of making a mistake in the industry. If you like the coin, buy the coin.
Right.
And then if you realize down the road, hey, you missed a scratch or it ended up being a clean coin. It is what it is, because you like that coin at the moment. You learned from it. You could keep it or you could move on. But it's just the more coins you get through, the more you learn. Right. The more that you buy and sell, the more you learn. And so, yeah, I mean, the starter kits, that's an incredible idea, giving kids the access. Because that's, like you said, the Red Book. That is what truly got me into the hobby. Is me and my buddy had at that point probably a $9.99 Red Book that we sat there flipping through, and we at one point were like, oh, we might have a $1,200 coin, and then we're like, no, never mind. This is just a regular VDB, not an S. We're not rich yet, but. But you
have a guide though, right? You have a guide, and there's not a lot of
guide.
Yeah, there's not a lot of guides out there in collectors or hobbies where you're like, hey, I mean, where can I find out if I'm getting screwed around or not? And you have a guide, a Red Book, who tells you everything to look for. All of the anti-counterfeiting measures and all that stuff are in that book. So you're right. It's a great book and it's a great guide. What's the very first coin that I say not you bought, because we kind of already gone over that, but like, what's like the first, like, I say, what's your favorite coin that you own? What's your favorite coin that you own? Like, if you have to pick one, and I mean, I'm not holding you to it, but I know that changes because my favorite coin changes all the time, but what's your favorite coin right now?
Though I have, don't worry, I brought a bunch out for me to look through. And the great thing, so I didn't bring out any, I have a couple coin pieces or coins that I really, I love them, and they're, I saved up to buy them, but none of my expensive coins really are the ones that mean a lot to me. So I'll have. They
generally don't, by the way.
Here's the ICG 1936, and I see it. ICG 1936 Oregon Trail. Yep. It's the first graded coin I ever bought. I bought it actually at the Tinley Park Coin Show that's here this weekend.
Oh, that's coming this weekend, yeah.
Yeah. So it was.
Do you want to go?
The Oregon Trail. I'm going to try to go tomorrow. I'm going to go tomorrow. I'm actually heading out to Vegas this weekend to celebrate with a couple of guys. So I'm only going to be able to go over there for a day. But I'm going to try to go meet my buddy Ian from iCoin over there.
Leslie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. No idea.
Yeah. Again, another young guy that's in the industry. Well, we're calling him young.
Good dude. No, he's a
sub 40.
Yeah. He's a good kid.
Yeah. So, but yeah, this is the first graded coin that I ever bought, and it was probably $120. Yeah, holding it still, it just gave me all the feels back for like. That was $120 coin when I bought this was a huge purchase for me. Kamems, I thought were such a cool, little subset of the coin industry, because everyone at some point in their lives, I feel like, does the state quarters, at least for my generation.
Sure. Right.
their grandma bought them the book or the map, and you tried to fill up the state quarters. And I kind of connected this to the state quarters. It wasn't directly to the states, but it was to events, throughout the late 1800s, early 1900s. And I didn't know that they existed. I knew of, Franklin halves and, Barber halves, and that was what I knew. And I didn't know we had this subset. So I thought it was awesome. So I dove in.
Low menages too.
What's that?
They have a lot. There, a lot of them are all low menage as well.
Absolutely. They're low menage, and I still think they're undervalued. So if anyone's listening, out
we
there,
agree.
Yeah,
we agree.
they're a great place to buy.
We have a lot of our inventory is of Kamems, right?
I've got this stack over here too, and these are all the Columbia expositions.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I think, and you could pretty much get them at Melt, and it's like
a couple bucks over.
Crazy.
If you're going to buy at Melt, you might as well buy a coin that's got so much history.
Upside too. Right?
So it's, I've got probably a stack of 50 right here that every time I see one, I'm buying it. And I just keep adding it to the bag. And so Kamems are probably, I love Morgans. That's my biggest collection by far. But Kamems are the coolest collection for me. I think it is such an interesting set. Because each coin, it's, you got the Lexington and Concord, and you look into it, it's like, why was this coin made? Right. Look at like how did this Columbia have 1892 and 1893? It's because it was a 7-month convention. Right. So again, there's just so much history to coins. So if you love history, there's a reason to get into coins. If you like art, there's a reason to get into coins. If you like collectibles, there's so many different reasons that you could love coins. I kind of am attached to all of them, but I really think this industry is amazing, and I'm excited. I'm excited for this podcast just to talk to you guys about it, because in season I don't get a ton of time to dive into the coin industry, so I'm fired up just sitting here with all my coins.
Well, yeah, I don't think we honestly we couldn't be happier either, just because we want to do it with we want to be able to collab with people that actually truly understand what we're doing. And I think that's been kind of the issue with, kind of going through these motions, is that not everybody truly say, oh yeah, I know coins. And then they bring you a bunch of bullion and you're like, hey, listen, that's a good start, right? That's a great start. It's a good segue. But rare coins is a whole nother animal, because it is 100% history. It is 100% art. And it's all of that, into one big industry and one big hobby. And again, to me, it's the liquidity part. You can buy good deals. There's plenty of good coin shops. I would love to say we're the best coin shop in the world, and I believe we are, but we're not the only one. And there's a lot of guys all over the country that I would recommend if you ever wanted to get started in coin collecting. There's tons of great coin shops, and just like Nick's experience, where they saw him at 12 years old and his buddy, and they're like, hey, we want to foster this relationship and we want to help him. I think there are tons of people in our hobby that would do the same thing.
Right.
So,
and to add to that, there's tons of people that would do the same thing, but everyone has a different way of kind of channeling, kind of getting into coins. If we're not doing our part of getting more information and getting it out there, then, you going to the shop and sitting down with the elder man and going through coins, not having that experience, maybe you wouldn't have been as pointed at that time to get into coin collecting. And, it's up to us to do that, to get other.
Well, right. If you only have $100, you don't want to spend $10 on a guide.
Right.
Absolutely. For me, like, I'm not going to spend 20. And I think the prices, I mean, they might be $9.99 back then, but now they're almost 20. So,
exactly.
And shout out to Whitman. Let's get some cheaper red books. But no, I mean, honestly, I just feel like, you hit it on the head a couple different times, but yeah, you got to be able to get in there. My first certified coin was a $200 Merc dime in '68, and I paid $200 for it, and I think I had like $500 to my name, but I just had to have the coin. Yeah, and
when I started really full time in the store after, we worked, constantly in the store. If we were at school, we were at the coin store going through coins. So we had a different growing up with our dad. It was a different. Different relationship than other people have with. I love him watching him go through coins it's awesome, but it's a different relationship.
The guy likes coins.
Let's
see more.
And I would say that, we got to see coins every day, and for me, it was just trying to get some of the key dates of each series, but also getting, like, I loved Morgan dollars. I loved silver dollars, the size, the history. I loved walking Liberty halves and standing Liberty quarters. And I think over time it's just really building that set, but not just being stable with what you have. You're always looking, it's the hunt. You're looking for the next series, the next thing you want to collect.
Absolutely. I feel like the sets is that's how I needed guidance, and especially stamping coins where I found the guidance. And I got, you get those, the blue books, the foldable books. Right. And, I started with wheat pennies, and then I really, Kennedy's and, walking liberties, I got into, and because you could search through mints, or search through junk piles, and you can find them.
Right.
If you go through enough coin stores or pawn shops, you can find some good dates. And I'm just looking at the Columbia still, and it's like you might not be able to see it, but like all of these are from searching, and there's some toning on this one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's pretty coin.
It's like I probably paid $12 for this thing.
Right.
So it's like,
and it melts for 10
right now. That's $12 worth of excitement for me.
Yeah. It's uncirculated. It's got blue and green color to it. It's cool. I mean, that's
So.
Show us some more.
Absolutely. Can we give me 1 minute? I have a coin that I might be able to pull out of the safe. It's one of my favorite finds. It might be
do it. Let's go.
Not the best condition, but it's an 89cc. Absolutely love it. It's the first time I pulled the trigger on one.
Let's go.
Rim looks nice, and looks
nice,
super
nice,
original.
good VG, DVG there.
Got a good look to it.
Yeah, I'm going through. Honestly, I have my greatest, but going through the raw collection is great because
we love Cirque coins. We love Cirque.
Yeah,
nice original Cirque is so hard to find.
Right, crusty and
I will. We'll have to find it, on the next episode. But I do have my best junk pile find ever was a Carson City Morgan that the CC was so faint. Yeah. I'll find it for next time, but it was the best feeling ever buying that thing for $19 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Oh, so we'll get to that. But I mean,
you made an extra $100 right off the rip, right?
Oh, it was awesome.
That's cool.
And then so we've got that, and then one of my favorite things that it's an affordable, just buying BU dollars,
right?
BU dollars. Like one, you can handle them. You don't have to. Be careful, grabbing the edges, but you don't have to be super careful. Right. I love coins that you can actually handle because that's, the graded coins are awesome, but being able to, hold the coin that was made, 120 years ago, that was a 1902, 1902. And it's a,
looked like a coin dealer holding those, right?
Right.
He looked like a coin dealer holding those. Well,
you guys probably tell me, but $50 coin, and it's like, man, you can get a beautiful $50 coin that was made 120 years ago, and you want to talk about, beautiful coins. Morgans are about, for me,
it's not even close. And it's like you said, you can get a Mint State 64 certified by PCGS or NGC for less than $100. I just think that's very, very, very reasonable. And then, like you said, a raw coin that you can actually handle and pass around is $50.
Right.
And I don't think a lot of people truly realize you can buy a silver eagle for $30 that was made in the millions, like they made them yesterday, or you can buy a 120-year-old silver dollar that traveled around in a bag and was in a bank and
could have been a Wild West.
Could have been a Wild West. It could have
Jesse
been
James or
part of a heist, or you never know where that coin was at.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Super cool.
I am having, by the way, the time of my life. The fact that so I just pulled out. I bought these. Again, these are coin shows, and who knows on the values of what I paid, but one's a 1798
large cent.
Shoot, this one's a 1798 large cent or 1797. Sorry.
Okay.
You were not going to be able to see the dates on this, but you can. It was the first coin that I bought. You could see a 1700 on it, and I was like, I think I paid $90 for it, and I'm like, I couldn't believe that.
Yeah,
because I had they had told me stories about the chain cents, and a coin collector down in Champaign had pulled some out for me. But that was fugazi to me. I'm never going to buy that. I'm never going to own a coin that's from the 1700s. And when I saw this, I was like, I can buy this, and this will never leave my collection. Whether I own a mid-state version of this, I'll never get rid of this. It was the first coin that I bought that was from the 1700s.
That's cool.
And I'm getting nostalgic. This is why you get into it, because every coin, whether you think you're going to remember it or not, you do. There's a story behind coins when you save up money for them. You talk, and that's the thing. It's not I want that size 15 shoe. Can I have that? Please. Can I look at that coin, and you take it out, you pull your loop out, or you borrow the loop from the dealer, the store, and you take a look, and they're not quick transactions. You don't have to be a bargainer, if you don't want to. That part was tough for me as a young kid, trying to, I was like, oh, you got to bargain everything down. Yeah. You got to get the best price. But realistically, if you build good relationships, you find good coin stores like yourself, you're going to be getting a fair price, and then you're going to get an awesome coin.
Right. You don't always have to negotiate.
Listen, you hit it on the head again. If you go in looking for a deal, you're probably never going to get one. If you go in looking to obtain and acquire and build a relationship, then they're going to offer you stuff they would never offer anybody else.
Right.
And that is exactly, again,
and if you're going in looking for a deal, you might not be able to buy if you're going in looking for a coin that you want to buy, then you're probably going to buy a really nice coin that you're going to appreciate. If you're looking for a deal, then you might not have that same feeling, because you'll end up getting a deal on something that.
But remember,
that someone's not going to want, or
you go in with one thing, and then you see a coin that's in the 1700s that you can buy for $90. You're like, dude,
right,
I got to buy that, right? And then it's like,
absolutely.
Hey, and then when you bring it out 10 years later, it puts you right back into that 25-year-old or however old you were at that time, and you're like, dude, I can remember the day, I can remember the lighting, I can remember the guy I bought it from, how many coins he had in his case, and.
Well, just sitting here talking with Nick, it is reminding me of coming to the coin store as a kid and sitting down and going through and how many transformations this store has had, how many times we've moved walls and
that's why people love hobbies, right? Because hobbies, they always bring you back to a moment in time where you did it, and that's, we just happen to be in the coin hobby, and we all seem to love it, so that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Show us one more. Show us one more. Yeah. Come on, one more. Let's go on.
Well, I'll let you guys talk about these after I show them, and then I'm going to look for one more that has a better story. But I think these are MF67. They're so they're not steel. They're not crazy expensive, but the steel sense.
Yeah, they're beautiful though. They're beautiful. That's an old holder. Old holder CAC.
Getting the old holder CAC, the full set. Yeah. And you can buy this set for couple bucks if you want, the most affordable version. You could buy a really nice set for $100.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I just think, that's a coin that has a ton of history. Talking about World War II history. Right. Is it the only coin we made out of steel?
Yes.
Yep.
Ever?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So such a cool coin.
Historic. And
the fact nobody knows about it. We made plenty of them, but nobody knows. We do trivia every week in the O-line room. So, I may need you guys to help me because I'm running out of trivia. But we do trivia every week in the O-line room. And, if we're playing in Cincinnati or playing out in the West Coast, I try to find a coin. Commembers have been, pretty helpful for that.
Yeah.
That is attached to that area. San Francisco is always a blast because I can always do some trivia connect to them, Denver, Philly. I can always connect the story there. But the steel one, is always the new guys that are in the room. That's always their favorite one. Is I'll ask what have we made coins out of, throughout U.S. history, and everyone's all over gold. They're all over silver, copper, but the steel always gets them. I think the bronze is obviously that's incredibly rare.
Right, that's the one everyone. Yeah, we've done a couple of news segments with that.
Yeah, so just having the ability to tell those stories, and the guys there, you'd think they're, we're all meatheads, we're football players, but they're all interested in it. A lot of these guys are super interested in it, and I'm slowly getting them into it. Bullion's, like you said, that's how I how I slowly get into it. And, they'll buy a bar first, and I'm like, yeah, that was pretty cool. You should get a roll of American Eagles, next. And then now I've got them into coins, and then I'm like, well, if you got, a couple rolls, how about we get a couple, some BU Morgans. Now you're talking about some real history. And they really do buy into it. Andrew Wiley's the first one that I got to buy into it. Eric Fisher, a bunch of these guys have really dove into the hobby a little bit, and it's cool because it's not something I was able to really share with many people growing up. And now, as adults, a lot of my friends are understanding how interesting at least this hobby is, and whether they're buying any coins or not, they're listening to me, and it's great to be able to tell stories of a hobby that means so much to me.
Yeah, and in my own position, we talk about this a lot. Is that I wish there was something outside of coins that I could get in, because I have a great coin collection, but I too want to collect things. But there's not another business like ours that I've met where someone's going to guide me by the hand and teach me how to effectively trade and collect things. And I feel like this is one of the last great hobbies to do so. A lot of things are going digital. A lot of the ETF type of thinking, where let me just, let me buy some, crypto or this and that, and that's all great and dandy, but you've got nothing to really show for it physically, and I just, I kind of don't like that as much.
NFTs.
NFTs, I didn't understand them. I tried my best to get into those.
Yeah. But, glad you did.
All righty. I've got my the final coin that I'll show. One, the reason made me smile is because it's got my dad's handwriting on it.
Oh, man, that's cool.
So, it's a 20-cent piece, 1875S, and it's just, one, seeing my dad's handwriting on it means a lot because he didn't understand coins. He's a collectible guy. He loved memorabilia. That was his thing. But he wanted to bond with me over it. So, like when I was 13, 14, 15, before I could drive, he would drive me to the coin store. He would sit in the chair in the corner, do work on emails, but he would be there with me.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
That's cool.
So I got time to spend there, and then he was the same thing. He would go to coin shows with me. I bought this from Collector's Gallery, and then we must have gone home. And one night when I was doing one of my resets, where I would go between flips and the cardboard.
Right.
1 year, every coin needed to be in flips. The next year, I was like, no, it needs to be a good, clean cardboard. So
I don't want any lens. There's no dust inside the cardboard and the lens.
Absolutely.
Yeah, get the air out.
Staples had to be fresh.
Yep, no rusty staples. We don't want any rusty staples.
Lined up correctly. Yeah.
Yeah, lined up correctly. Exactly.
Yes.
Right.
I would put it in there, staple it, and then I would tell him what to write. He would write it. I've got this graded as fine. I'm not sure if it is.
Looks better than that.
I was gonna say the back looks great.
It looks a little VF to XF to me.
Yeah, but I mean, I was just writing it down. It was so again, I don't care if I overpaid or underpaid for this. There's a lot. Yeah,
the memory's priceless, right?
Absolutely, it absolutely is priceless.
Yeah, it's a 75S.
Goodness.
It's a 20-cent piece, which is cool.
Yeah,
most people don't even know we have a 20-cent piece.
And there's your trivia question right there, right? That's a great trivia question, right? How many years did the United States make a 20-cent piece? And most people are going to say none, right?
Exactly. Oh, I've hit them with how many denominations of coins and or bills have we minted or printed over the years? Again, I should know the answer. But nobody ever knows a half cent.
Right.
Sure.
Right. 3-cent piece.
3 cent, 3 cent, 20 cent.
$3 gold.
Yeah.
$4 gold.
Yeah. Right.
50.
Yeah.
50. Yeah. The 50 big. Yeah. The big dogs.
How cool are those?
Those are cool. Yeah.
Don't have one yet. Definitely on the bucket list.
Yeah. That's super cool coin.
Let's go get another chip, and then
that's right.
Then you're gonna.
I haven't bought a coin to commemorate this Super Bowl yet, so I definitely need to work on that. Maybe it is the $50, but yeah, I mean it is. I don't know where to go from here. I'm just
listen,
at my coins right now.
I don't think this could have gone any better, to be honest with you. I mean, for us, it's all about the hobby, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just cool to hear a big, rough and tough in the trenches, left guard, freaking got an arm hanging off over here, like, just like, and it's like you come home and it's like you get just as excited to talk about your coins as you do a Super Bowl. And to me, man, I don't think there's anything else we could say in this segment that could even ring true. So we're gonna let you go, man. I just really want you to know we really, really appreciate your time. And we appreciate the partnership, and we're excited.
Absolutely, I feel the same. This is, I didn't know if I'd ever be a part of any partnerships as an offensive lineman. That's not something I dream of playing football. But when you guys reached out, I was like, man, that's something that could really work for both of us, because you guys, I guess, hadn't known it yet, but. It's a passion. It's not something I do for an investment's sake. There is the liquidity of it, which is awesome, but it is truly a passion that I love. And you guys, I appreciate you guys giving me a chance to have a reason to sit down and go through my coins more often, because I love it. It really clears my head from everything that's going on. So this has been awesome.
Cool. We appreciate it, man. Enjoy your time off. It's well deserved. Congratulations one last time on the 3X Super Bowl champion, and we hope to see you soon.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much, Nick. Take care.
Thank you too.
Bye.